All right. So, yeah, 256 changes apparently is a lot of words to write down, a lot of things to go through, and props to playgwent.com, whoever has to go through these patch notes, to write these patch notes, to localize these patch notes into every language that these patch notes need to be done in, because we have people saying, Viper99 in the chat is saying, I think the Bible might be less words than these patch notes. I hear you. What's going on? Thanks for joining us, Oogla V, Invisible Arrow, Viper, Duran27. So mad with the changes, Rip NG. Let's see. Oogla coming in, saying they wrecked Hugebird.
Finally got my account back. Hello, my fave Gwent player. And again, shut up and take my money, Exceleth Heart.
Verna with a nice Twitch Prime sub.
Commando!
Thanks so much. Thanks for using your Twitch Prime sub on me. You all get a free one, and to use it on me, that's very special. I really, really appreciate that. And you get a bunch of stuff out of that, too. And I get Amazon's money anyway. So thanks so much for the resub. You said, shut up and take my money, but I kind of need to talk. I just started the stream. For me to be quiet now would be a waste of time, unfortunately. So thank you for the resub, but I will not shut up. And, but I'm not mad at you for telling me to shut up. Ardal, only playable leader. Ooh, God. See, I don't even know what these all are. Like, I haven't even seen them all. I saw some stuff in advance, but the Northern Realm stuff is like a complete mystery to me because there's just too much to cover. So I just don't know anything about, and I honestly, like, the thing about knowing stuff with this patch, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter what you know in advance, because when you see this many changes, you just kind of have to imagine. Just imagine what it'll be like to play the game, because that's all we have to go on is our imagination. So come with me on a journey of the imagination. Patch 3.1 is upon us tomorrow, early on here at NA East. Early on in NA East, we will be treated with the great bronzing of our time, the great buffing of our time. This patch is no joke. And the patch notes are pretty good too. Again, I got to give a shout out to the patch note writer, to everybody who has to go through and localize these changes, to the development team for making all of these changes, because this looks like this was drawn up when Syndicate came out. They're like, all right, here comes Syndicate, and then we'll buff. Like, they must have already been working on this. I don't really think you can haphazardly make this kind of level of change. I'm gonna have to move quickly. Well, here's the thing about this one. I'm not covering everything. I can't. But I'm gonna cover enough to make it worth your while to get your news from your boy McBee. Because these patch notes only dropped about an hour ago. Plus, the other big news for today, we finally know the 6th Syndicate leader. It is our boy returning from the shadows, Sigismund Dijkstra. He's been in the shadows. In fact, he's been out on stage as Siggy Reuven. Strangely, this is the one card where the leader's name is the real name, and the card's name is the fake name. Whereas for now for Horson Jr. and Cleaver and King of Beggars, and there's another one too. Isn't there another Ada? Ada, I guess. And Detlaf, I guess. You know? But his real name is the leader name, so he's Sigismund Dijkstra, making a new life for himself in Novigrad just after retiring as head of the Redanian military. Dijkstra is back. Let's chat about that later. Hold on. Patch hype. Palmerin got buffed. Hurrah. The new Bronze Age, David Rodriguez Jr. is like, ping me when the patch notes come. Oh, we're here. I didn't even plan on streaming. Christina's going to come home and see me streaming and was like, what the hell happened? I thought you were going to do something else today. You know, I'm moving tomorrow. You see these bare shelves behind me? This entire unit completely empty. Can't even hear me when I'm this far away from my mic. So there's a lot to do for me today. So I'm going to go through these changes. We're going to take quality time, and we're going to do what we can. All right, let's go. 3.1 coming in tomorrow, Wednesday morning. All premium cards from the Syndicate expansion are going to be available. Great. We've already seen that Renegade Mage on Twitter. Reworked filters in Deck Builder. We already talked about that. That's just great. Now we can search for things we need to find. Keg stuff, console stuff, better quality of life. Now here's where I like the way they wrote this stuff. Syndicate Ganglanders. Here's where I like the way they wrote these patch notes. Syndicate gang leaders demanded respect. Their reward book icon will now have Syndicate written under it. The message tab removed from social panel until we find a better use for it. Also, there's another thing in here too. Also, reach removed from all of these cards. So any card that had reach on it, do not have reach on it anymore. They have different restrictions for row where you have to play them. The interesting one really is Dim and Light Longship. I find that one probably one of the more interesting ones that has changed because you have to play it on the ranged row now, I believe. Northern Realms cards with reworked abilities. That's a lot of cards, as you can see, for Northern Realms. All these cards are different. Most of these cards are cards that had crazy one-sided, one-trick, single-turn, snowbally, binary value, and I think we're better off for it. But I haven't read all the changes yet. I can only draw conclusions. Also, you can see Trebuchet's gone and Bombardment. New Warfare cards are going to be printed. That's all I've gotten. I'm reading this blind, guys. New Syndicate Leader... New Syndicate Leader available in-game, and that's Sigismund Dijkstra, and his ability is gain 1 coin... Sorry, order, gain 1 coin, charge 5. Gain a charge whenever you play a crime. That's good. That's good. We're going to talk about that later. New products available in the shop. New clickable elements on the Syndicate board. Oh, man, that's just starting all sorts of fun stuff, I'm sure. Board reactions. Components of the board swinging and reacting to big explosions on the board. That's awesome, dudes. That is awesome. That's just like fun stuff. Cards revealed in keg opening can now be switched between when viewing them in full screen preview. I don't know. I'm sure that's good. Whatever it is. And how about this? This is so cool too. This could set a new precedent for what Arena is. Send your feedback to CD Projekt Red. Special Arena mode only for the weekend of the 2nd to 5th. Pick your leader and then...
Client didn't show up, so spending the morning in the office watching my favorite Gwent streamer.
Thanks, SAT Holmes, with a 6-month resub to Gwent. Well, to Gwent with Twitch Prime.
Awesome combo.
I'm a little out of it this morning. I feel like I can't read anything. I feel like a lot of stuff also is different in this room. I've moved some things around. All my screens, like I actually had to move my screen on this desk because I had to take all the drawers out of the thing that the monitor is sitting on, and now the monitor, like it's not really a dresser, but it can't support the weight of the monitor the way I had it positioned. It started to tip over. So I had to like reposition everything, and now I can't read. It's just weird. My eyes are so used to just looking at certain spots. So that's that is the thing you didn't even ask for. But thank you so much, SAT Holmes. See, you sub to me and you get a pointless rambling about my life. Send your feedback to CD Projekt Red because in this special Arena Mode weekend from the 2nd to the 5th, you pick your leader and then you build your deck. That is a massive difference and a very, very interesting difference. And I think something that could be the experiment that maybe changes things, because making Arena more fun and worthwhile to play. I mean, I just don't play it, guys. I just don't really play it. I don't really like it that much. It's not the fault of the mode. I just don't like it. I would love for them to make it more fun for me to play it, because I would like to play more Gwent in different ways when I don't want to play Gwent in other ways. More ways to enjoy the game. Magic the Gathering has that going for it. They have so many different formats they can play with the same cards. I love other formats, especially when a player base is encouraged to queue for those other formats as well. All right. So now we're going to get into the very, very, very long part of the video, which is talking about very, very quickly the implications of these changes, because a lot of these changes may just seem like, oh, now I can fit these things into my deck. But it does change a lot more than you think. And I think that the first two ones are probably the most sterling examples of what a little change can look like. But before I get before I get deep into this neutral list of changes, I just want to make sure that I say hello to everybody in the chat. Thanks so much for showing up. El Shni, I see you. Thanks again for the subs. SAT Holmes and Avierna. Also, I see you, David Rodriguez Jr. And, you guys are you're filling in. You're filling in for the show here. All right. Here comes the neutral cards. Oh, man, my eye's twitching. You think I'm stressed out about my move or what? You think that this is like... I'm not looking at the clock right now. Oh, man, the twitching eye. I hope you can't see it on the camera. I think my camera is too small. But I've got the eyelid twitches. You guys ever get that? It's not great. All right, quick stuff. We're going to see how fast we can get through this, but I'm going to pause on the really important stuff. Neutral cards. Here we go. Alzur's double cross provision change. Now, like I said in the previous video, when we saw the new John Natalis as a tutor that's coming in at 8 provisions, made me think that every tutor is going to get a little bit of love. And it looks like Alzur's double cross being at the top of the alphabet is showing that we are getting that love. So, out of these changes, we can assume that every single tutor card is getting a little bit of shave on the cost to put it in your deck. Alzur's double cross coming in at 8 means that we are more likely to see tutoring effects. And with cards like Kira Met showing that they're not afraid to put big strength on these cards now, we're probably going to have a lot of cool ways to build Alzur's double cross. Prophet Lebiota was already kind of making me very interested in running this in Northern Realms in the first place. So I like it. I like where this is going. Alzur's Thunder also changes the game completely now. The 5-point damage is far more attractive to put into your deck. Previously at 5 provisions for special cards, the damage threshold was 4. You see it in Full Moon, Northern Wind, and things like that. Very rarely would you ever get something at a bronze below 5 to hit for more than 5. Let's not talk about Witch Hunter Executioner, which is absent from this list of changes. Good God, what are we going into? Anyway, Alzur's Thunder, it does change things, right? It changes things. You're going to have a lot more options, but you're going to have less tempo in your removal. It's a big deal. I like where they're going with this. Artifact Compression, whatever. I mean, now it's a 5-point locking card. It's a gold version of Dimeradium Shackles with a different effect. Instead of damaging, it resets. I do like it. I like the difference. I think it could be a bronze card, but whatever. Bomb Heaver is just a little bit better tempo. Carlo Varese has a melee restriction. This is just the reach stuff. Commander's Horn's more affordable, which is great considering it's getting you 10 points already. So you're getting 10 for 10, and that's been pretty good for Svalbard Totem. And it could, I mean, I wonder if the tags are going to be changed as well. I don't know if that stuff is going to be covered in here. But Commander's Horn, could you make the argument that this could be a warfare card? Anything that's a tactic, I feel like you could make that argument. And I feel like Northern Realms doesn't have to suffer for the extra toys that Nilfgaard got to play with. Those are ours. Give it back. Elder Bear coming back, just being a little bit more valuable for what it is. So now you get 6 for 6, I think. So it's setting the new standards for vanilla. Here comes Ek and Geralt. Big changes here, and we're probably going to see this across the board with Leo as well. I'm trying to think of the other one. But I guess it's, yeah, between Leo and Ek. We're going to see the threshold for the tall removal units now going from 8 to 9. I think if we're increasing the power level overall, this is good. But this is especially good for tactical advantage. Gone are the days where you're going to have to only find something to hope you boost it 2. So Geralt just doesn't come and just take that tempo away from you, punishing you further for being on the blue coin. But it's still going to be tough because it looks like a lot of engines are stronger anyway. So I think this probably won't be that much of an effect that we feel, but we'll see. Golden Froth, Iris Companions, okay, whatever. Evo Bellhaven, okay, so Evo has changed. Evo no longer gains a charge, but instead has a reduced cooldown, so effectively being restricted to how much damage Evo can do in a round, while still caring about playing a Witcher every turn. So you can't stack charges on him, otherwise he's the same, it seems like. So he's indirectly nerfed. He's nerfed. He's directly nerfed. He's nerfed. Evo's nerfed. He's nerfed. The end. Johnny, as well as Sarah, also nerfed as not being able to hold charges. So this is an interesting look into how they're treating units that hold charges very specifically, because now Evo, Johnny, and Sarah, and a couple of other changes previously have shown that they're really being careful about stacking bunches of charges and getting crazy snowbally greedy swings. And I'm sure that also affects how Resilience plays as well. Lady of the Lake is buffed. Hell yeah, that's a good card. Land of 1,000 Fables is also being treated as a tutor card, getting the buff. Mahakamail. Oh, this is... Wait, Mahakamail Provision... What? Hold on. Is this wrong? Are the numbers in the wrong order here? Mahakamail already is a 5 provision point card, so I'm assuming that this is now a 4 provision point boost and unlock. You know what? There are 2 ways you could have gone with Mahakamail. Either you change it to Purify and kind of modernize it, or you just make it cheaper because it's just not as good as something that can Purify. Because I feel like I was punished for not playing the unit, which is weird because it's the opposite of what they're trying to make me do. I should be rewarded for not playing the unit. If they're making Alzur's Thunder cheaper, they should make Mahakamail better if they're comparing it to something like Peller, right? So I think that Ale is just buffed. That's just a typo. Marching Orders buffed. Excellent. Murktabraka is now changed. Now you can no longer store the charge. Now, again, it's blocking all the ways you can get a bunch of damage at once. It's making building your board of reach more important. So now you can't use Murktabraka as a 4-point ping with something like Full Test. You can't put charges on it again. So you have to have 2 units on the board to get the ability. I think that's probably where they were going with this change. I don't really like it because I like Murktabraka and I like playing Ek, but I think that they just want to go in a different direction with charges, and I get it. Red Haze is just, they're trying to increase the play rate on some of these cards. Regis Bloodlust, melee restriction instead of reach. That's the same thing. Renew. This is a fine nerf. We're going to play Spot the Nerfs. Assuming that Mahakamail is a typo because it's not even 4, so it has to be a typo. But it's in a sea of buffs where there's only 5 nerfs. It's interesting to see what they have chosen to nerfs. What they've chosen to nerf. It's interesting to see what they have chosen to nerf. Really, because you have found that the really, really, really strong golds in this game are feeling extra strong because a Renew allows you to play them twice. Making Renew less attractive makes that option less attractive. I want players to pay for this effect because I want to be able to have, because Renew is counterable, really. If it's really bad, it's counterable, and then you're really punishing the player playing Renew. So even though we're not going to see nerfs to Ewald or Witch Hunter Executioner, we are seeing a nerf to Renew, and I think if you had to pick 5 big cards in this last expansion that were showing their faces to be a big, like, god damn, this card is bothering me, Renew is on my list. So I'm going to say that this one of the nerfs gets the McBeard stamp of approval. I don't know if I'm going to have time to YouTube an effect in there. All right, so Royal Decree tutors are improved. Play rate. Although this is a cool buff, really. Swallow is just 6 for 6. Now it's 5 for 6, so it's getting just a little bit better. Special cards are just getting a little bit better treatment. They're starting to see the value of the body and how slow no body is. So they're just trying to make these cards more, and they're trying to make more cards that care about playing those special cards, and I like it. More tags, dude. It's great. This resupply is awesome. Intimidate is cool. Last Wish also. Now this is a great card. Last Wish with this effect, sometimes you'd hate to have that bad decision having to burn 2 gold cards, but this thins 2 cards from your deck, dudes. 8 provisions. Keep an eye on this card. It's a spell, if that'll matter. All right, dudes, what's going on? Remedy's now a tactic. Oh, cool. Assassination got a provision buff. Yeah. Murktabraka change is going to be huge. Locks won't be a problem. Kind of reminds me of Control Open Beta, where removal with any kind of size of blob is going to be a real premium. I mean, it's just going to change the meta completely. The logic of these changes, I mean, I'm trying to find the logic. That's the thing. Don't take these changes personally, dudes. There's far too many, and they're all good. They're all good changes.